Hey everyone, and welcome back to A Jolly Good Life. Today I am going to show you guys how to make this mini diaper cake. You can also make it a Mickey diaper cake by just simply not putting the bow on. Super easy, so let's see what you're going to need. Alright, what you're going to need for this project, these are size 1 diapers. You can use, of course, any brand that you want. You're going to need 43 diapers. It's going to be 27 diapers for the face itself and then 8 per ear. So you're going to need a total of 43 diapers. You're going to need a glue gun, a 9-inch pan. This is just one I use for this purpose. You're gonna need, this is just 1.5 inch black ribbon. It is 3 yards. And if you're making a mini cake, some sort of ribbon of your choice. You're not gonna need too much of it. This is 7/8 of an inch ribbon. You are going to need rubber bands. If you don't have rubber bands, no worries. I'll show you what you can do. And then you're going to need either yarn or curling ribbon. And then of course something to cut your ribbon with. Scissors. Alright, so let's get started. I'll show you how easy this is to make. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is separate your 16 diapers that you're going to use for the face of the Mickey or Minnie. Let's do it like this so you guys can see it. So you're going to put them into the cake pan and just off-center them just a little. Then you just keep stacking them in here. That might be a little too far. Just going around and around. Just try to hold them up as you're going along. Kind of push them against the side here. It's kind of hard to show you guys. But with one hand I'm holding it and then I'm trying to place them in there as evenly as I can. This is going to be the hardest part right here, just trying to form the Mickey head. The great thing about this diaper cake, guys, is that all of the diapers can be used. We won't put any glue on them. I'm just going to go this way now. No glue will be touching any of these diapers, so all of the diapers will be able to be used. You do have to kind of squish them in here. These last few are a little tricky. We'll mess with them in a second once we get them all in here. That can always be the bottom. So now you have this shape. As you can see, there are some gaps here, so we could just spread them out a little bit. Keeping it nice and tight into the pan. So now this is what we have. Now at this point, once it's in here, it's in the cake pan, what I usually would do is get a big rubber band, and I would rubber band the whole circumference. Maybe this one will work. Usually use a lot bigger rubber bands than this. Oh, I guess it does. All right, so what you're gonna do is put your rubber band around the center. Don't worry if you don't have a rubber band to put around it. No worries. You can just put yarn around it or your curling ribbon around it and tie it in a knot. If you do choose to do the rubber band at this point, you take it out. There's one side. There's the other side. At this point, if there is something that you don't like about the way it turned out, you can always move the diapers around, spread them out more. If you have any gaps in here, just kind of scoot the diapers around until they're to your liking. I usually use curling ribbon, but I don't have any extra. So whether you choose to use yarn or a curling ribbon or any other ribbon that you might be able to tie around here just to hold it in place. You just want to make it relatively tight. And these are the same steps that we are going to use for both of the ears as well. Okay. You're going to cut your ribbon or your yarn, whatever it is that you choose to use. Cut the excess and take your rubber band off. There you go. You have Mickey or Minnie's head right now. Now you're going to get your 8 diapers for the Mickey, one of the ears. And this could be a little bit tricky, but you just want to do the same thing, except you're going to be holding it this time. You get all 8 of them and just start. Try to space them as evenly as you can. You can always go back and work on it if you like. Once again, these are size 1 diapers. I have also done this with newborn diapers, 1, 2, and 3. When I was doing Etsy, someone wanted 4 diaper cakes so that the person that they were gifting them to could have diapers throughout while the baby was growing. So do you see how I have them like this? Now you're just gonna have to turn them, like squeeze them tight. This takes a little maneuvering here. Just spread them out a little bit. As you can see, we have somewhat of a circle. Like I said, just kind of, some will be a little bit more spread out than others. Take your time and spread them out accordingly. However you see fit. That's good to me. You know, you can always skip the rubber band part if you don't feel that it's necessary, but I just find it easier to put a rubber band on it. I have to kind of hold it in place. Put a rubber band, and then I can let go of it and I could maneuver it. And adjust them without them falling out of place. See, now that it's like this, if I wanted to pull this little diaper a little bit more, I think that looks pretty good though. I want to make sure that the diapers are going to be flat on this side. There you go. So it just takes a little bit of patience to do it, but really it's not a difficult thing to do. They're not going to be perfectly, you don't have to make them perfect. But it is an awfully cute idea to give at a baby shower. So what I'm going to do is now use my yarn again. And tie this, and I'm gonna tie this tight. The reason I mean, of course, when I made it for Etsy, I used white curling ribbon because I didn't want to have them open it and be yarn. I'm using yarn so that you can see that it can be an option for you. And like I said, it doesn't have to be super, super tight. At this point, I'm just pulling them up so that this side is flat. This side's flat also, but as you can see right here, there really aren't very many that are sticking out, if any at all. So now we're going to cut this. I'm going to go ahead and make the second ear. I haven't made diaper cakes in a while. So that's the reason these are kind of formed like this, because I just unwrapped the one that I had before to redo it so I could show you guys. Because I really don't make them anymore. But I did want to show you guys in case you had a baby shower to go to and you wanted to make something different, which is a Mickey or Minnie diaper cake. So there you go. You see I have it kind of like a moon. Then you have to just work with it and make it a circle. Like I said, you just maneuver them, tuck them in, and there you go. You have your second Mickey ear. I'm going to put a rubber band on it and tie it off. Like I said, if you're gonna give it as a gift, it might be a good idea not to use just any yarn you have laying around the house, although it will be covered with the ribbon. So it's up to you what you want to use. Maybe you can use just black yarn instead, since it is a Mickey cake, or Minnie. All right, we have our second ear. Time to tie it off. The reason I do it a little bit tight when I first do it is because when you do the second one, it will loosen up a little bit. So there you have that one. I have to take the rubber band off of this one. All right, so just to recap, we used 27 diapers for the face and 8 diapers for each of the ears. So that is a total of 43 diapers. And like I said, these are size 1 that I'm using. All right, this might be a little more difficult to film, but try to get whatever you chose to put around, try to center it as much as possible. And you're going to take your ribbon and simply put it over whatever it was that you chose. Now overlap it just a little bit, because like I said, you don't want to get any glue at all. I'm going to overlap it probably about 1 inch. Of course, this will be easier for you guys to do at home. You're going to want to pull it pretty tight and put the glue on this ribbon. Do not put it on the diapers. So seeing as I cannot see, I'm just looking at the camera to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to put some glue here and then hold it tight until the glue holds. Okay, once again, I cannot see. You do want enough glue where it will hold the ribbon in place. I'm going to hold this one with this finger and place it on there and hold it for just a second. This is a little more difficult to do when you can't really see what you're doing. I would have made this a little bit more even had I been facing. This you can either cut or put a little bit more glue. I'm just going to reinforce it right here. I'm always making sure that I don't get any glue on the actual diapers. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. See, so whatever you chose to tie it together, it's going to be covered. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the ears. Going to get the ribbon, put it around, measure it first. Measure it a little bit bigger than what you need, because you want to overlap it by about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. You can actually overlap it as much as you want. but I don't think it needs to go any further than an inch or inch and a half. I'm gonna hold this inside ribbon with my hand, and then I'm gonna tighten it with this one, so it has a nice tight hold. Now I'm holding it with this one, being very careful not to burn myself either. And I'm holding the ribbon on there. Hold it on there for a couple seconds. You definitely don't want it pulling apart. I got glue on my nail. Okay, I could put a little bit of glue on here just for extra hold. Not much. I'm now going to do the last ear. Same thing. This is such a cute baby shower idea, guys. And it's really very easy to make. The hardest part, I thought, was when making the Mickey face, was to actually get the diapers to cooperate. Once again, I can't see what I'm doing on this side. Trying to see what I'm doing through the camera. So I went overboard on the glue a little bit here, but that's okay because we have to attach the ears to the head next. I'm sure you guys are going to do a wonderful job when you guys make these for yourselves. And then you'll have people asking you, well, how did you make that? Then you guys can tell them. Okay, at this point, you're going to want to center your ribbon. You're also going to want to see, well, do you want the seam to be on the bottom? Do you want it to be on the top? Is there a side that you prefer? Do you like that side better? Or do you like that side? You know, turn it around. See what looks better to you. This looks pretty good to me right here, but my seam is on the side. I don't want that. I either want my seam to be on the top or the bottom. Although I do like the swirl effect right here. If I put it just like this, this is about where I can, that's my seam. And right here I could put one ear. And then the other one I could probably put it right about here. So that would cover my seam. Just be mindful when you're putting your ears on, you want to cover this, whether it's putting it at the bottom, putting the bow on top, or covering it with one of the ears. So I think I'm going to put one of my ears here. Now what I'm going to want to do is get, here was my seam from the ear, the ribbon. It's going to be a little difficult to show you guys, but I am going to put some hot glue only on the ribbon. Once again, ribbon only. Center it and hold it there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Really press down on that. You definitely want to make sure that it has a good hold, because you definitely don't want your ears falling off. So I'm putting a good amount of pressure on the ear, pressing it on there. I'm not pushing as hard as I can, but it's got a good amount of pressure. And I'm not going to rush it. Just going to hold it on there for a second. I would hold it on there about 20 seconds. let go, and you can see it's still sticky. So you either want to hold it like this, and I'm holding it for the benefit of the camera so you guys can see, but you can always lay it down as well. I think you guys can see it pretty good here. So the only problem I don't like about doing it this way, and I'll do it for the camera so that you guys can see, is that the glue has a tendency to drip. When you have them standing up and you're pouring it, the glue will drip on the ribbon itself. When you do it laying flat like this, the glue will have a tendency to go down, and if you don't do it real quick, the glue can actually get on the diapers. That's why I usually let that dry and then I'll do the other one. But for the benefit of this video, I'm gonna have it ready. Let's move this over here so you guys can see. This is the glue side. You can see it, the reflection. I'm gonna measure it, whatever looks good to me. Now put them a little closer than you would think that you need. Only because since these are pretty heavy, when you put them, they will sag a little bit. So put them a little closer than what you would think. So I'm gonna put them, let me see, I'll give you guys an idea. I'm gonna put them about 5 inches apart. You might want them closer, you might want them further. But I'm gonna do about 5 inches. I'll have it ready here. My seam is on the inside here. I'm gonna put some glue on the ribbon and stick it pretty fast. Don't worry about squashing your ears. You'd be amazed how pliable they are, and you can always fluff them and round them up once you have everything in place. I'm gonna give these ears a few minutes to dry. I don't want to move them. Give them a few minutes to dry, and then I'll come back and show you guys the next. Okay, so now it's been a few minutes. I gave it about 5 minutes to dry. As you can tell, they are, from looking at it, hopefully you can see the glue. So now at this point, if you want them to be closer, you can always glue them and hold them, or just let them be. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna let them the way that they are. They don't look too outrageous to me. They're pretty even. So now, the bow part. Now, this is the bow that we're gonna put on the top if you are doing a Minnie Mouse cake. I'll put this to the side. So at this point you can either buy a bow and put it on the diaper cake. And believe me, there are a million tutorials on YouTube on how to make the perfect bows. So for a video of how to make really, really nice fancy bows, you might want to check them out and then put it on the diaper cake. I just have the simple, the one I always do. I measure the width that I want it to be. So this is the, I do it a little bit longer than the width between the ears. So I simply have my ribbon, I doubled it. This is the width between the ears, and I'm going back on, the same amount. I'm gonna cut it right here. So essentially I have it in thirds. Here's my ribbon. I have it right here, and then I double it over. That's my fancy ribbon, my fancy bow. This is the hardest part, I think, is to pinch it. Pinching it as close to the center as I can. Now I'm going to take curling ribbon because I do have a little piece of curling ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon that you want, because then I'm just going to get a flat piece of this and I'm going to place it right here to finish off the bow. So I'm recycling this little bit of curling ribbon that I have. I'll show you guys. This can be a little tricky. Try to get it as close to the center as you can. And I am just going to make, oh, can be a little challenging to try to do this with one hand. I'm trying to do it so that you guys can see. Hopefully you can see this. No, I don't like how that turned out, so I'm going to try to pinch it as I tie it. That's much better. I'm going to tie it again for safe measures. Like I said, there are a lot of tutorials out there on how to make perfect bows, maybe even a double bow. This side seems a little bit bigger. That looks a little more even to me. I'm going to cut off just a little bit of this. What I want to do is place it like this, like a square, so it'll give it a more finished look. So this is going to be the front of my bow. I'm just going to lay it flat on the glue. I'm going to hold it there a second. Like I said, you can also buy a bow and just simply glue it onto the ribbon. I am purposely trying to make it look like a square. Then I will put a little bit of glue right here in the center to finish it off. I'm pressing down so it gives it more of a square effect. And a little bit of glue there. I'll push that down with the actual glue gun so it doesn't burn my fingers. Maybe if you have something that you could push it down with, anything you might have handy, we can always cut this off. Once it cools down, just use my scissors and cut that little bit off there. Now all we have left to do is to glue the bow onto the mini head. Okay, like I said, you can always put extra glue, because as you can see this little gap right here, if you were making Mickey ears, this is where you would stop. And the new mom-to-be would have 43 diapers to use right here. If you're making a mini cake, This is the point where you would glue the bow on there. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on the top of the ribbon. And if you really wanted to, you can put a tiny bit on each of the ears. Of course, you guys at home would be able to do this a little bit easier because you're not trying to, I'm trying to show you guys and do it as well. But then it would be something like this. I'm gonna have to let it dry a minute. I know it's gonna pull apart if I let go, so I can't let go right now. All right guys, so there you have it, a Mickey / Minnie diaper cake. Using just a few items, I think this would be a really cute gift to give someone in your life. All right guys, so on that note, I want to thank everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this Minnie / Mickey diaper cake. I hope to be bringing you guys a lot more crafts coming soon. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.